anyone who has followed politics since 2016 have noticed that it's almost like a joke that's played on repeat. You have the issue, which you're being bombarded with on television over and over again. A lot of fear mongering put into it and making you understand why it's pivotal that the issue is fixed. But it's also the fact that the issue is interconnected. The issue is also about climate change. It's also about abortion rights. It's also about feminism. Like all these things come together, and if we solve the issue, we help solve the other things, and vice versa. Like if you're fighting for the climate, then you're also helping tackle the issue. Now, in the beginning, when this joke was initially played, it kind of made sense in a way. Like they would say, Donald Trump brings fascismus. So if we vote Democrat and we get rid of Donald Trump, then we fight for the climate. We fight for abortion rights. Like it kind of made sense. I mean, they would say, well, it's political. So if you put the right party in charge, then this other party cares about all these other things, which Donald Trump doesn't. So, like it was a propaganda that made sense. But now when you're seeing stuff like the war in Ukraine or the conflict in Israel, and they're saying, well, it's about climate justice. Well, it's about queers' rights. I mean, Israel actually made fun of this in a tweet. It was hilarious. I hate to say it, but it's rare to see a government organization actually score such a big W. Like whether you agree with Israel or not, their post is actually accurate, right? Like all these people that are like, well, LGBT people for Palestine or whatever, try going there when it's peace. Like not now, because now there's conflict. I understand the situation, but like during peacetime, right? Like go there with your LGBT flag. They even put like the Palestinian flag on the LGBT. I said it as a joke, but these individuals actually went ahead and done it. I should sue for copyright. And the issue is very bizarre, right? Like Greta Thunberg also had like climate justice in Israel, and it's like what? Nani? Right? It doesn't really make sense when you look at it. The pandemic also, like, oh, if we fix the pandemic, if people vaccinate and mask up, it's going to help the environment. And when you looked at it, there were so many plastic masks being thrown that I generally don't know how they managed to get rid of them. Like there were billions of them. Like think about it, every single person was required to wear a mask, right? There's what, like 7 billion people on the planet, give or take. So every single person was supposed to wear one, and let's assume that you wear one every 2 days, right? Because like some people are poor, maybe they wouldn't be able to afford all of them, so we're more economic minded. It's still an enormous number of masks over a couple of months, right? So to say that, well, actually doing what the government tells you is going to be good for the environment in this situation, I generally don't see how. But the question remains, right? Like why can't, for instance, in this situation, why can't Palestinian rights just be about Palestinian rights? Why is everything having to be interconnected? And the answer has to do with wokeness. Now, some people don't like the term. We can just put it like modern American mainstream culture, because at this point it is mainstream, right? Like, I know that if you're an American, you may not agree with it, but it's the same thing that you're going to see in movies, is the same things that you're going to learn at school, it's the same things that you're going to get from the academia. Like the mainstream, the acceptable conversation, like if you're in a corporate environment, this is the culture that is not just being imposed and accepted, it is required of you to believe in. And that is the woke culture, right? So like what does woke teach us? Like what is this culture trying to say? Well, it tries to help people understand society. It creates a view that society is actually a set of interlocking systems of power. And these systems of power oppress marginalized groups. And if you fight any one of these systems, it means that you're fighting the entire set of interlocking systems of power, which requires solidarity with all groups, right? So basically, this is why it's called intersectionality. Like it's pretty much like how it became, I guess, into the mainstream for our generation. It existed under different forms in the past. but it started with like intersectional feminism. And this is literally what they believe. The reason it's called intersectional is that it's at the crossroads of the different sections of power in society, right? So like all these systems of oppression exist in the world, and the only way that you can dismantle the oppression is for all the minorities to rise up, right? So, well, I mean, unironically, this is what the ideology thinks. This is why universities right now are Pikachu-faced, that a high number of left-leaning students are supporting Palestine. And if you look at gender studies, queer theory, colonial studies, like a lot of these left-leaning studies, that they all have the same essence. Like they differ here and there, but the essence is the same. And the essence is that the cisgender, heterosexual, straight, white man is oppressive. And that the systems created by this individual, which is meritocratic capitalism, is oppressive. Right? So as such, I mean, it's a very simple way of viewing the world. There is no shades of gray. It is pure black and white. And the answer is that, okay, well, if that's the situation, when they're looking at the conflict of Israel and Palestine, they see, on one hand, a capitalist, meritocratic country that is oppressing because it's more powerful and it's got more numbers and everything, and the rest doesn't matter, by the way. Like, they eliminate all the other context. Again, there is no shades of gray. And I'm also willing to bet that they stereotype and believe that Palestinians are brown, even though the majority of them happen to be white. But that doesn't matter. The fact that they're Muslims overrides, like unironically, left-leaning people genuinely believe that Islam is part of a race. Like, if I convert to Islam, I stop being white. Like, I don't know how the university professors manage to indoctrinate the students to think this nonsense, but they have done such a successful job at it that they're going with it, right? So when they're looking at this conflict, again, like, they're viewing it through the social justice lens, that they're viewing it from the woke lens, so they can integrate it with everything else. This is why you have the modern Marxist flag, which has like rainbow sexuality on it, right? Like that's the original LGBT flag. That makes sense. It's like rainbow color, every color represents something else. Fun fact, the original rainbow color flag is not even trademarked, but the corpo flag, the Marxist one, actually is trademarked. And it actually is representing everything. Like unironically, right? Like they represent various sexualities, they represent various races and genders. And there is a meme on the internet. I wonder if they're going to play with it. It actually has like various corporate logos. Because this flag, again, not only is it trademarked, it's also used by various corporations more than individuals. So it is a bizarre thing that is happening, right? Like, in one way, we're fighting against the oppression, and we're fighting against the corporations, and we're fighting against the government, but the government and the corporations are using the flag that you're using to advocate for social justice. It's not supposed to be a coherent ideology or make any sense. It is supposed to be an ideology that allows individuals to think that they are fighting to improve the life of everyone, while not doing any actual damage to the establishment, while not actually, being used, in fact, to enforce the establishment. It is, a very interesting ideology. This is why it's coming from academia. It generally is made by smart people to make students believe that, yes, we're fighting for a better future, when they're actually fighting to maintain the status quo. Again, the status quo has their flag. I mean, on the White House, they put the flag in the middle that they're using in order to rally, support it. It doesn't make any sense. It also doesn't make any sense why you would put Palestine on the flag, but when you have this mentality that, well, everything besides the cisgender, heteronormative, straight white man needs to be on the flag, then, okay, well, now it makes sense. So yeah, it's not logical, I suppose, unless you're looking at it from the view that I described it. So hopefully now you managed to understand a little bit more what's going on. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.